Have you been staring at the mirror, wondering where your hair is going and why it's going so fast? Well, you're not alone. I've been there, and a million other men and women have been all around the world as well. Today, I'm going to share with you 8 clear reasons why you might need a hair transplant. They're not just cosmetic concerns, talking about confidence, quality of life, and even mental health. So if you're on the fence about considering getting it, this video just might be the turning point for you. For those who don't know, my name is Amit and I got not 1 but 2 hair transplants done from Istanbul, Turkey. I am living proof of how a hair transplant has changed my life and also of how badly I needed one. I used to be completely bald and now I have a lot of hair on my head and I'm very, very thankful for it. I'm going to go through exactly why I think you also need one, and hopefully it helps you down the line to make an informed decision on whether you really need it or not. Before we jump into that, if you're enjoying videos that I put out, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, especially if you're looking for hair loss or hair transplant tips. Let's start with a big one. Your confidence is taking a hit. You stop taking selfies, avoid catching your reflection in store windows, or begin hiding under a hat. But over time, that discomfort grows even more. You find yourself avoiding social events or feeling less attractive in dating situations. You may even find yourself comparing your old photos constantly and asking, where did that version of me go? The truth is, hair loss isn't just about appearance. It can affect your mental health, your identity, and how you show up in the world. I've lived it. I used to stare at myself in the mirror all the time and always feel like a part of me was fading away. A transplant didn't just give me my hair, but it brought my spark back. So if your confidence is crashing every single time you see your hairline move back an inch, it's a sign worth paying attention to and considering getting a hair transplant to get that back. If you're not as consistent with it, or you just don't have the time to keep up with the aftercare, switching over to getting a hair transplant might be the way to go because it is a permanent fix. However, you'll end up having to still apply these aftercare routines in order to maintain the hair. The thing is with minoxidil and finasteride is that if you don't already have a lot of hair on your head and just like small areas of thinning or hair loss, you're not going to see a dramatic growth difference when using these products. They help to a certain extent and they help bit by bit. They don't produce a drastic 0 to 100 look just like that. A hair transplant helps to enhance that look. So if you do a hair transplant, you'll still get about 70 to 80% of your density, and using minoxidil, finasteride, hair growth shampoos, all these things can help enhance that growth further. Think of it this way, if you are already at an extensive level of hair loss, getting a hair transplant might be the way for you because it will help you get at least 80% of that density, and then you take everything else to help promote even more growth over time. There's a huge difference between slow natural thinning and aggressive hair loss. If you're noticing your temples pushing back further than expected, or suddenly developing that M shape or deep corners, that's something not to ignore. The earlier you act, the better your donor area will be, which means better coverage, better density, and a better transplant result. I've seen people wait way too long before they wanted to go for a hair transplant, and then their donor areas are way too sparse, and then they end up still doing it and not getting the desired result that they want. So it's all about timing, and if you have a good donor area, that's a good sign to definitely consider getting a hair transplant. Hair loss can change your appearance and make you look 5, 10, or even 15 years older than you actually are. I'm a great example of this because I had a lot of hair loss in my mid-20s and I honestly looked like I was in my 40s. It was not a good look, and it definitely played a part in me wanting to get a hair transplant because I was still relatively young and I didn't want to give up on my youth just because my hair was going. When I got my hair transplant, my look immediately changed. I got it done when I was 32. I am currently 35. And now I feel like I look 25. It's been a big game changer. It's taken 10 years off of me and I feel young and I feel healthy, and it makes me feel very confident. Getting a hair transplant also helps align your appearance and how you feel inside. If you're still active, driven, stylish, then your hair shouldn't hold you back from presenting that version of yourself. It's not vanity, it's the consistency between your identity and your image. And when you line those two up together, it's a very powerful look. A hair transplant is not a high level of maintenance long term. Sure, the first few weeks and months are a bit tough because you have a lot of adapting to do, a lot of aftercare that you have to apply, a lot of maintaining of your head to just make sure that you're not damaging your grafts. But once you pass that 1-year mark, your hair is pretty much done. The new hairs have grown out and there's not that much of maintenance that needs to be done afterwards. The only thing you do have to do is just maintain your aftercare that can be at limited doses throughout the week, and it depends on what your goals are. If you want more growth and keep applying minoxidil to add that blood circulation in your scalp, or if you want to keep the existing hairs, keep taking finasteride. You can treat your hair completely normally afterwards. You don't have to worry about what areas are losing hair versus what isn't. You can go for normal haircuts. You can just live your life as you want without any sort of worry that you have to maintain the transplanted hairs, because realistically, they're not going anywhere. They're staying there. So you don't have that much to worry about afterwards. A hair transplant is a one-time investment, and it will keep your mind at ease for years or even decades. If you work in an industry that values presence, like sales, hospitality, public speaking, or even content creation, your appearance plays a huge role in your confidence and how others engage with you. When it comes to the social aspect of it, some people feel less comfortable going out and being social with anyone, or even going on dating, because having hair loss or having a receding hairline definitely does affect you, and you don't have that confidence to go out and want to even communicate with anyone. I've been in that situation before where I used to not want to go on dates because of my hair, and I was like, it's not worth it because they're not going to like me anyway. I know it's one way to think that, but on the other, it was something that was bringing down me as a person, and that's honestly no way to live. You have to be able to live the way you want to and not have these fears and regrets in your life. If that's something that's holding you back, definitely consider getting a hair transplant. It's all about self-care, and if you're worried about what other people think, don't. The moment you get it done, it will change everything. If you're letting your hair control how you feel in life, then you have to get it done. Because you either have two options. One, you shave off your head and you live happily with the bald head that you will have, or make the effort and consider getting a hair transplant done. You want to be done worrying. You want to be done applying fibers. You want to be done adjusting your hair every single time you see it in the mirror. You want to just be free. And I think that's the most important thing. A hair transplant gives you that freedom of not having to worry ever again. Coming from me, I used to always be worried about my hair. I used to always have a comb over. I used to always apply fibers, and every night I'd come back and just look at myself asking, when can all this be done? I considered shaving my head many times, but I realized that that's not what I want. I know I look better with hair on, and that's what I decided to do. So I went for the hair transplant and got it done, and I've never looked back ever since. When you get this done, your whole mindset changes. Everything else about you immediately lifts. You get more positive, feel better. You feel like you can take on anything in the world. It's a feeling that truly is like no other. And if you ever want to consider it, definitely do. Getting a hair transplant is a fantastic idea. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. A transplant isn't something you just get done. It's a whole process. I have tons of videos on my channel talking about the entire hair transplant process of my journey when I went into the clinic and got it all done. Check it out if you haven't already. But the most important thing is to understanding the timeline of the entire process, from how it starts, getting the transplant done, and then going through the shedding phase, and then the ugly duckling phase, and then finally slowly starting to see your hair grow time over time. It's definitely a journey for a lot of people, and usually by the 6th or 7th month, you'll start seeing a lot more growth, and closer to the year mark is really when you're pretty much done with the entire process and you get your final results. As long as you're in the right mindset to know and expect these things, you will do very well on getting your hair back. A lot of people struggle at the beginning of the entire phase because they go through the ugly duckling phase and they're not happy with how they look, and because of that they kind of give up doing the aftercare or just say this was a failed transplant. But honestly, I'm telling you, it's not. It will get better. I'm living proof of this, of how you have to get through those worst days to get to your best. So getting a hair transplant requires a lot of patience, and you have to have the mental strength to be able to get through it, but it is still a good idea to get it done. If you're interested in the clinic that I went to and I got my fantastic results, I'll link them in the description below. Definitely check them out. They're really good. They're in Turkey, and me going back there twice just proves how good of a job they did both times. So if you are considering it and you want to do some sort of research, sign up for a free consultation with the link in the description below. If you sign up using that link on the website, you most likely will get better treatments and better doctors based off of the link below. Finally, if you guys are still on the fence about getting a hair transplant, that's totally fine. It's a big decision to do, and if you want to have a chat with me about it and just try to get a personal touch and try to understand your story a little bit better, I have a one-on-one hair transplant consultation service that I have linked below. You can book some time with me. We can talk about it. We can talk anything about your hair transplant. I'll even send you my personal aftercare list as well that'll help you after the hair transplant or even before. So definitely consider booking some time and we can try to have that conversation together. Alright, I think that is all from me for today. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. If you are, consider liking and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my entire hair transplant journey somewhere there if you can. It's very informative and it's really good. Thank you so much again, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.